Alright, so today we're going to make our new Tier 2 Fidget Toy for the exploratory class. This is the toy we're going to make today, and we're going to make it in Creo Parametric. So here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to the top left here, and we're going to click on New. We're going to make sure Part is selected and Solid is selected, and we're going to type in T2-Fidget-Toy. That should be alright. We'll go ahead and hit OK. It'll bring us into our part here. Alright, now to create this part, if we look at it, it's a round part. It's intentionally designed to be able to easily 3D print it. And because of that, we can see we have some angles. I'll get into that when we start creating that. Now this entire part could be made with basically one revolve, an extrude for some text, and then some rounds just for comfort in your hand. I'm going to separate it into multiple revolves just so we can learn some other tools in Creo that'll help students later on. So I'll move that back over. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to revolve. And revolve, just like it sounds, is going to be anything that's round, spins around, revolves around something, right? So we're going to go ahead and click revolve. That's going to bring us into our revolve command up here. And then it's going to ask us for a sketch. We're going to right here hit define. And now it wants some planes to draw on. Now the plane I want you to select, and you can select it one of two ways. You can either hover over it here and click front, or you can hover over here and click front. Now as soon as you click front, it's going to fill in that top box. Then I want you to double check that the bottom box says right and right. If it doesn't, easy way to fix it, just go ahead and click right here, come over here, hit right. Now of course I already have it selected, so it's going to get upset with me. And then make sure if it doesn't say right here, your down arrow go to right. And it might not do that if you were like already rotated around type thing. So we'll go ahead and hit sketch, and that'll bring us into our sketch. And if your sketch doesn't rotate, just go ahead and hit the sketch view button. If you accidentally rotate later, it'll bring you right back to where we were. Alright, so first we got to create the profile of this round. Now on the drawing that I've provided, the students, you can see there's a section view to kind of show you the pattern. We're going to create the outside first. So I'll move that over and I'll give you the dimensions as we go here. So creating it's going to be a little bit challenging, but I'll walk you through it. So first step, we got to create our entities. Alright, so we're going to go up and pick line. We're going to start somewhere above the axis and somewhere to the left, so the top left quadrant here. We're going to click, go down at an angle, click, go down at an angle, and then what we actually want is this point to line up with that other point. See how as I move over it gives me a little inference line. So once you see that little dotted line, go ahead and click, and we'll go over to the left and see how we want a nice horizontal line. See how when I move over to the left, when it's horizontal, it snaps with a little inference line again. So we want that, and then we'll click, and we'll go up, and then I'm going to wait till I line up with this like that. Make sure I have a nice vertical line that lines up, click, and then we'll go over here, click. And all that stuff is just going to save us some extra settings we'd have to make later. Now to end it, you have two ways. You can either click your middle mouse button, so click your wheel down, which is what I like to do, click, or you can come up here and hit the arrow, and that will work as well. Alright, so once you click out of that, the next thing I'm going to want you to do is go up to the dimension tool, and we're going to put a few dimensions in. And actually I forgot a very important part. It's a round thing, right? So we need a center. So before we put those dimensions in, let's go up and pick center line up here, and then click right in the middle, and you'll see you get an infinite center line. I want you to snap that center line right to the vertical line, the one that goes up and down. Click, okay, then middle click to end it again. Now we'll pick dimension, and the reason we need that center line is it's going to help us with defining a few dimensions. Alright, so first we're going to say from this point to this center line, click, to this point, click, and then I'm going to right above here middle click, and that'll give me a diameter, which we're going to make 0.625. Okay, now let's say I'll do that one more time because this is one that people tend to struggle with. So let's say you're trying to put a diameter in, because right now we're just creating half of the piece. We're going to pick dimension, point, center line, point, middle click, 0.625. Okay, next dimension we need is the outside dimension. The outside of this thing is 1.5, so we're going to go from the outside line, click, center line, left click, outside line again, left click, and then up above, middle click, 1.5. There you go. And then we need an angle. So we're going to pick this line here, click, pick this horizontal line here, click, and then middle click right here. We're going to put in 65 for the angle. And the reason we're putting in 65, if you're wondering, for those of you that want to learn a little bit about 3D printing, there's certain angles where, if you think about this piece, right, if it starts building it, there's certain angles where it's going to be okay, like overhanging the base plate. Obviously, like a 90-degree angle is fine, it's just printing straight up. But as this angle gets smaller, it's harder and harder and harder for that print to print over. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. 65 is a nice round number. It'll also keep our center piece inside there. That works well for this. All right, now you're going to notice we have a couple blue dimensions still. We're not going to change those yet because we need to put the little grip that's on the outside. So if you look at this piece again, you notice there's this little grip here where you're going to put your hands or your fingers to spin it. So we're going to take a circle right up here. We're going to put that circle right on our horizontal line, okay? And then we're going to bring it over like this so it crosses through. And we're going to click again and then middle click to get out of there. Now we're going to go up to delete segment. We're going to click it. We're going to get rid of, I'll zoom out so you can see, get rid of this outside line, arc here, get rid of this outside arc, and then we'll get rid of these two vertical lines here, just like that. Now we got a bunch of crazy dimensions here. We'll change that in a second. All right, so let's go up to dimension. Let's pick the center of that circle, that imaginary center now. Left click the center line, left click the point again, middle click above, and we're going to say the center of that circle is 2 inches away, and it's going to make our whole part look really, really crazy. Don't worry, it'll look normal in a second. We're then going to take our dimension and we're going to put in a radius for this circle. So we're going to pick the arc here. You can see it's right here, but we'll create a new one. We'll pick the arc here, and then we'll come down here and we'll middle click, and we'll make that 0.375. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to pick the top line, we're going to pick the bottom line, we're going to come over to the left just so it's out of the way because it creates a dimension wherever we middle click. And I'm going to middle click, and I'm going to make that 1 inch, and we're going to see, uh-oh, this isn't centered. All right, that's okay, easy fix. Last thing we'll do is we'll come up to our constraints where we can tell it all sorts of different things. Something's vertical, horizontal, perpendicular, coincident, meaning it's on something, etc. We're going to use the equal constraint. And we can make a couple different things equal where it'll fix it. But some nice easy ones is we can pick this little vertical line here. We can pick this vertical line here. And now these two are equal. It's going to center it about the middle. All right. Now, if all these dimensions are in here, and they're nice and yellow, or whatever your Creo setting is for defined dimensions, we can go up and hit the checkbox, which then we can hold down middle click, don't just click it, hold it down and rotate, and you'll be able to see your piece in 3D. Okay? The reason I said not to click it is clicking it will actually automatically hit whatever's bolded. So you can see like this is bolded in blue or highlighted in blue. If I middle click right now, it's the same as clicking this. So you can either click your checkbox or you can middle click and it'll create your piece. All right, so there's our piece. All right, now we need the inside part. All right, we got the wheel, now we got to put an axle on the inside. So first, let's get it back to our normal orientation. Go up here where it says saved orientations. And it's the one with a little cube, a little notepad at the bottom right. Go ahead and click that next standard orientation. That'll bring your part back to a normal orientation. All right, we're then going to create another revolve, and it's going to be on the same plane. So we're going to say we're going to make it on the front plane again. Click. And it'll automatically rotate for us so we can see it. All right. Now, the last thing I want you to do before we start drawing, because there's a way to make this a heck of a lot easier than actually putting in all the dimensions, drawing, and trying to guess where things are. Let's go right to the left to where those saved orientations were, and let's hit this little cube and go to wireframe so we can see inside the piece right now. All right, there's our sketch from earlier if you notice. All right, the difference is now you have edges in other places. So we're gonna first go up to the top left here and hit references, and we're gonna make this edge here and this edge here a reference by clicking them with our left mouse. All right, so this one and this one. All right, I'll show you why in a second. We'll hit close. This time we won't forget to put our center line in right away, so we'll click center line, pick the middle, go up, snap it to the vertical, click again. Now we'll go up to line, and we're gonna hover over the top so it snaps to it. We're gonna make sure we're to the right of that line we made a reference. We're gonna click, come down to the middle, but if you notice as I move over, eventually you'll get a little snap just like that, and it'll make the two lines parallel, and you can see the little parallel icon right to the right of my cursor right now. Go ahead and click, come down, do the same thing with that bottom line, make it parallel, click, come over to the right, click the middle, go all the way up to the top, click, and go over to the left and close the sketch we have here. All right, now you can either go up and hit the arrow, or you can middle click again, and we'll be able to see the shape. Now let's say you didn't get this dimension that just popped up for me. All right, go up and pick dimension, pick this line, and go right up above it, right in the middle of the two if you followed it up, and then middle click. Let's make it 0.05. That's going to be our clearance to make sure these two pieces can move independently. All right, but it's not going to be so big. If you notice, this point here is far over to the right from this point here, which means this piece can't fall out, okay? Because we're going to have the same space over here. All right, so if these 2 points were really close vertically, I'd be worried about this piece falling out, but it's not going to. All right, so now we'll go up and hit the checkbox. All right, and we'll be able to see our piece in the middle. We can do that by a couple things. Hit this little display style thing again, change it to shading with edges. All right, we can see the piece inside now. All right, and then you can hit the checkbox or middle click, and we can see we've made the center piece. All right, now the only other thing, you'll notice mine has text on it as well. We're not going to go through creating the text. It's very simple. It's just a simple little extrude. But rather than going through doing that, we're just going to make it comfortable for our hands. All right, so we'll go up to round here at the top. And I'll show you all the edges we're going to pick. So we're going to pick this edge. We're going to hold control, and we're going to pick this edge. We're going to hold control. We're going to pick this edge. Hold control, pick this edge. Hold control, pick this edge. Now we're going to let go of control, and we're going to click down our middle mouse button, hold it, and rotate our piece around so we can see the other side. We're going to hold control. We're going to pick that edge and that edge. All right, now if you hold down your middle mouse button and rotate, you'll see all the sharp edges we had, we're now making round. All right, the size we're going to make them right up here is we're going to change the radius to 0.03. All right, and they should all highlight it and make them a little bit bigger. Go up and hit your checkbox, and then click off your piece. You'll be able to see those. All right, now if we go back to standard orientation again, we can see our pieces. Ooh, and I can actually see I missed a point. I missed an edge here. So let's show you how to fix that. So I can go over to any feature I've made previously. I can right click on it and hit this little ball with a pencil. That's my edit definition. Now if I hold control, I can add this fillet in there as well, and then just hit the checkbox again. And now I've got one there as well. All right, so there's no sharp edges on this piece. All right, now we'll go back to standard orientation. The last thing I'm going to show you how to do is change the color. So first off, let's turn off our datum plane so we can see everything. Let's hit this little button right here, uncheck the top box. We can see all of our piece. All right. If you want to see how it's going to look in your hand, because we're not going to see these little edges that it shows, we could even change the shading to just shading. All right, that's more like what it'll look off of your 3D printer. All right, now last thing I want you to do is change the color to a color you like. Now you can change multiple surfaces to be different colors. I'll show you that as well. But we're just going to go View, hit the arrow under Appearance, and you have all these standard colors, right? And standard materials. However, I'll show you how to make your own color. So right here in the blank, right click, hit New. Then right here where it says Color, go ahead and click that. And you can do this a couple different ways. You got a color wheel, if you want to do it that way. You can use RGB, so like say you want like, I don't know, it's like turquoisey blue. Looks pretty cool. I'll do that. You could do it with HSV, sliders, Blender palette, all sorts of stuff. So we'll just hit OK whenever you find a color you like. All right, hit close. And then right up here, click on the name of your fidget toy. And then middle click. And it will change that color. Now let's say you wanted just certain surfaces to be a different color. You could hit the down arrow, pick a different color, so I'll pick like red. Say I wanted like these two top surfaces to be a different color. I can click that. All right, I can click that, hold Control, click that, and then middle click, and it'll change just those to a different color, if that's what you like. Okay, and that's how you set the different colors of your piece. Of course, when you go into your 3D print, you have to actually change materials and things like that. Okay, so that's all you have to do for this piece. Nice work, and thanks for listening.